looking back the other night, you talked a lot about the three-guard lineup. How much has Davion developed in these first few games? It seems like you obviously trust him more now to be on the court with Iverson and DJ.
Well, I thought he did a really good job for us the other night against Missouri. Down the stretch, he was definitely a key component to us building on the lead that we finally got. And I thought his defense in particular was really impressive. He did a very good job defending against Pinson. So I'm excited to see his growth, and sure it will continue.
We'll go ahead and swing it up to Lexington and Jerry Tipton. Jerry, go ahead.
Yeah, Ben, I wonder with all the disruptions with COVID and the preseason and the schedule, I'm wondering if you see a common thread in how that has affected play for all teams.
Well, you know what? One of the things that's so different, Jerry, is there's no fans in the stands relative to past years. I mean, we have 1,000 that were allowed. I think Vanderbilt's is even less than that. But, that really it changes the feel of the game when you don't have those crowds that, affect the game so much with their energy and what they bring. But I think the players and the coaches alike have done a tremendous job in terms of dealing with everything that we've dealt with from last March all the way through to where we are right now, and really just proud of college basketball, and in particular the SEC. The SEC has the best testing procedures of any league in the country, period. We got tested yesterday. We're getting tested again today. There's very little error within our system, the way that Commissioner Sankey has set it up, and I'm really grateful for that because, as we know right now, the pandemic is at an all-time worst that we've had thus far, and yet we continue to be able to play games and keep our team, reasonably healthy.
And did you have a follow-up?
Yes, if I can. Just kind of looking back on your game with Kentucky, I wondered how prominent Dante Allen was in the game planning.
In the game plan?
Yeah, in the planning, because he hadn't hardly played.
No, he wasn't prominent. He was 2 for 6 coming into the game, all of them threes. We knew he was a really good shooter. And, he really was fantastic that night and, did a tremendous job for them. It was obviously a disappointing loss for us, and I was really happy the way we bounced back against Missouri.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go ahead and swing it over to Joel Coleman. Joel, go ahead.
Hey, Ben, just a general question, but it's always tough for you guys to go up to Vandy and play. Just kind of curious what you've seen out of Vanderbilt and what you feel like you guys will have to do well on Saturday.
They had a great chance to win at Rupp Arena the other night. They played the game right before we played Missouri, and I watched that game in its entirety, yesterday. And I was really impressed with Vanderbilt, especially offensively, how they spread the floor. And they have so many guys that can shoot the three. Both, Tasu, who's their starting 5-man now, essentially, and Shute, who's starting at the 4, are great three-point shooters, not good. And that makes it so difficult because it really stretches your bigs away from the basket. Scottie Pippen has just been tremendous for them. I think he's the second leading scorer in our conference. Really heady, smart point guard. I thought Jordan Wright played very well against Kentucky the other night. I think he had 17 points, was 3 for 3 from 3. And he played well against us last year. I like him. And then, Evans is a guy you always worry about because I remember watching him score 25 points in the first half against LSU a year ago when they beat LSU at home. So they have good pieces. They're young. I think they added – this big kid they added, number 42, is playing well for them. Quentin Brown, I can't say is Melora Brown, but he transferred, I guess, from Rice University, and then also DJ Harvey, a transfer from Notre Dame. So they're a team that's going to be very difficult to defend, number one. And then they do a lot of things defensively. They'll run and trap as you cross half court. They'll trap the first pass. They'll play some zone. They'll press. So they're very well coached. They really have a lot of cute little sets and things that they do to ISO their best players, and we're going to have our hands full.
We'll go around the state. We'll go down to Jackson and Nick, and then we'll go up to Columbus with John. Go ahead, Nick.
Hey, Coach. After all the adversity that you guys have faced, having that second half against Missouri, what was the locker room like? What has the team been like these last couple days?
Yesterday was the first day. We had 11 straight days. We had a day off prior to that 11th, first day, and then all the way, basically 11 straight days. So yesterday, I didn't see one player. And I told them that I didn't want anybody even come to the building. I mean, they needed to have a day off. And there was so much emotion after that win. I know guys didn't get to sleep real early. So it was really nice they had an entire day off to rest. We had them in this morning for shooting and for some lifting. And then we'll practice here in a little bit. But, I know that they're, obviously really excited about that win. And I'm glad they got a chance to have a day off to kind of celebrate it. But now it's on to, the task at hand, which is Vanderbilt.
Go ahead, John.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you.
Hi, John.
So you mentioned, obviously, the Missouri win, but where do you think you guys improved on the court through that game? What steps do you think your team took forward in that big win?
Well, I think the biggest thing is learning that, hey, we were down 14 early in the second half and came back and won the game by 15, is that you never quit, you never hang your head, you never, stop playing as hard as you possibly can. You got to do that for 40 minutes. And when you do that, good things happen. And we really got on a roll. And, DJ, I think, had like 6 shots in a row that he made and really was the catalyst to bringing us back from down 14, along with, what Iverson was doing offensively. But our team defense, we created offense with our defense and got some easy transition buckets and, some big plays. And, again, I can't emphasize enough again, the reason why it was such a big win is because Missouri is so very good. Missouri is really a good team, and they're a problem for anybody who has to play them. They're very experienced, very smart, excellent talent, really well coached. So that was what made it extra special. We beat a team that was 10 in the net going into that game.
And I have a follow-up to that. After the game, I thought it was interesting. Abdul said, we're always underrated. We never get the credit we deserve. I guess a two-parter. One, do you think that's true? And two, how do you think your guys, how does that kind of play a role for your guys? Like, do they kind of use that as bulletin board material?
You know what? I saw him, on Instagram say that, and I was a little surprised. But I'm glad he feels that way because, it's always at a point where we're trying to prove ourselves and trying to prove naysayers or doubters wrong. And if he thinks like that, I want him to continue to think like that.
We'll go ahead and swing it back to Paul Jones. Paul, go ahead.
Coach, obviously you've coached some great defensive players during your time coaching, and I know that's always a staple of what you want to see from your guys first on the defensive end. In saying that, and I know it's still early, but where do you kind of compare Cameron Matthews and the way he plays defense to other freshmen you've had?
Yeah, Cameron's a very good defender for a freshman. I mean, especially just his physical tools. He's 220 pounds. He has a 6'10" and a half inch wingspan, very quick feet, and he's tough and he's smart. So I've been very impressed with him, and he's versatile. He played the last 5 minutes of that game against Missouri as our 4-man. And, with JD out of the lineup right now, he'll probably see more minutes there at that position. And, so I'm really, thankful that we have a guy that's so versatile because he can guard a 1 through a 4. And does a good job, and he's strong enough to keep them off the glass, and he's a good rebounder.
We got time for a couple more. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
To follow up on that, on the other side of the ledger with Cam on offense, what improvements do you want to see him make on that end?
Free throw shooting. I'd like to see him. We're working a lot on his foul shot. He's shooting 9% on the year right now, which is a little low. So we'd like to see some improvement there. But he's putting up about 100 a day and really working at it, and I know he'll dig his way out. One of the things I was so excited about in our win against Missouri is we were 19 for 21 as a team to shoot over 90% for the first time this year. But for him, he's got to continue to be aggressive. I thought he had another big putback in that game on the offensive glass. And then he also had the really nice lob dunk from Davon in transition that was great. He's a very good passer. He creates for others out the dribble. And it's just him putting in the reps on his jump shot so that he has confidence to shoot it, just like you have to put reps in on any shot that you take.
We'll go ahead and swing it back up to Lexington and get it to Jerry, and then we'll go to Nick. Jerry, go ahead.
And I wonder what you think. It seems like I watch a team in the SEC one game and I get one impression, and then the next game they look like a different team to me. And I wonder if that's just the nature of college basketball. Every game's its own adventure, or is there something going on there?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of newness to our teams in the league this year, Jerry. I mean, I think that as you look at our league, there's been a big changeover in personnel of players, from previous years, this year in particular. So I think that's really the answer you're looking for. There's just a lot of new guys. Now, you're used to it in Lexington because it's there every year. But, it's not true everywhere else. I mean, we lost a lot of guys in the NBA draft last year. We had the most players drafted in the first round. And, so it's kind of a reload year in terms of personnel. We're younger. I watched, for example, the Georgia game last night. While I was watching film, kind of going back and forth, and that was an unbelievable game. Between them and LSU, and our league is very tough. And on a given night, anybody can beat anybody. That's what makes this league so tough. Is there's no easy win anywhere. Everybody's so well coached. There's so many really good coaches. So it's really continues to be tough. I mean, I look at Arkansas last night taking Tennessee to the wire. I saw the highlights of that. That was a heck of a game. I think that's what you're going to see throughout our season. I think you're going to see a lot of really close, hard-fought games between teams.
Thanks.
You bet.
We'll go ahead and swing it back to Nick and John to wrap it up. Nick, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I feel like I have to ask. I obviously, see the shirt you're wearing, the Stronger Together shirt, and, obviously social justice issues have been, a topic with coaches around the state in the past. I wonder if, obviously, I know you didn't see the guys yesterday, but if there was any conversation this morning or at practice about, the events that happened yesterday with the team.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it with them when we get to the film session after practice is over. I was really, really stunned by, the events in Washington, D.C., and really, really bothered by it and really saddened by it. I mean, just could not believe that was happening here in the United States of America. And I'm thankful that they got everything under control. And I'm really thankful that, both the House and the Senate got back to work because, we can't have anything disrupting our government. And you saw everybody from both sides of the aisle very much in support of the fact that that was just an awful, awful thing to happen to our country, and that should never happen again.
We'll swing it back to John to wrap it up.
Coach, I know you talked about them a little earlier, but do you think that the backcourt duo of DJ and Iverson, do you think they are the most explosive backcourt in the SEC, or they have potential to be that, and what's kind of their ceiling as a duo back there? Obviously, everyone saw what they did in that second half against Missouri the other night.
I've been singing their praises for a long time, and we'll just let the chips fall where they may now. And we got plenty of games left to play, and you guys have to write the articles and do the telecast. But I've been saying I think they're both really special, and I think we're really blessed to have them as our backcourt, and I wouldn't trade them for anybody.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you Saturday post-game in Nashville.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.